Good evening, everyone. Rav Desai here with the tropical update for Tuesday, September 25th, 2018. And if we take a look at the Atlantic Basin at this moment, it seems to be the pattern past week or so is that storms start to fire up and then they dissipate very quickly, as has been the case. Because as of today, we have again zero currently active storms. However, we do have three areas of investigation. We have 98L just off the coast of North Carolina, bringing some showers and thunderstorms to the Outer Banks. We also have the now remnants of or post-tropical cyclone Leslie, which was denigrated that just recently. And we also have the remnants of once tropical storm Kirk down here in the south central Atlantic, approaching the Leeward Islands. And if we take a look at the National Hurricane Center site, we can see that we have a 50% chance now still of development for 98L. We have a 80% chance of development in the next 5 days for post-tropical cyclone Leslie. And for the remnants of Kirk, we have a 70% chance of development through the next 48 hours and 5 days. And if we start by taking a look at the remnants of Leslie, you can see that this storm has been very disorganized lately, and that is why it has now become a post-tropical cyclone because it no longer has a warm core, it's not a cold core system. And also all the thunderstorm activity is well to the north and the east of the center of circulation, which is right around here. And if we do take a look at the forecast track, however, this is as of 11 a.m. because they are no longer issuing advisories as of now, as it's no longer tropical. However, if you do take a look at this 5-day cone, it is forecast actually to redevelop into possibly a subtropical cyclone once again, sometime around Friday to Saturday. As it starts to head west, it is kind of heading towards land. However, it's not expected to reach any land masses, as it's probably just going to keep meandering here in the open waters of the Central Atlantic for many days to come still. If we take a look at the model guidance is still very confused on the system. They all have it making this westerly turn. However, after that, it's really up in the air. It's basically just going to probably make like some kind of spiral shape or something like that because the steering currents are very weak in this area. So it's probably just going to stay weak for a while. But again, no threat to land, which is very good. And taking a look at Invest 98L, which is impacting land right now, you can see on the satellite that it is looking somewhat organized, but also there's not much thunderstorm activity going on. And at this point, it is going to be running into some very high wind shear. If you look at the shear map, you can see that right now 98L is just entered this region of 25 to 30 knots of wind shear, and it's going to be heading into an area with 40 to 50 knots of wind shear. So at this point, I think the window of opportunity for 98L to develop has passed, and it should probably just stay in Invest. However, it is still going to be dumping rain into North Carolina on the Outer Banks, as it is doing at the moment. If you just take a look at the track, you can see, or this is as of yesterday, if you refresh or take a look at the tracks for today, that they do have it approaching very close to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, probably not a landfall though. And then it should be going out to sea, maybe impacting the Canadian Maritimes. However, it probably will not be a tropical system, but it will be bringing some rain to that area. And if we take a look at the intensity guidance, you can see that most of the models do not have it approaching tropical storm strength, and the ones that do, it would most likely be a extra tropical cyclone by the time it does reach winds of 35 knots or greater. And if we take a look at how much rain is forecast to fall in North Carolina, the good news is that there's forecasts for less rain to fall now than it was before. Before that, some models had up to 4 to 5 inches of rain in some areas, and now it looks like it should max out at about 1.5 to maybe 2 inches on some areas here in the Outer Banks, which is definitely good as they do not need any more rain after Florence dumped in that area just a couple weeks ago. So that's good news for them. And if you take a look at the remnants of Tropical Storm Kirk now, it's starting to look very organized, and it's looking very robust, as you can see by the cold cloud tops indicated by these black, white, and some purple colors too. And if we, you can also see though that The system also does not have a closed center of circulation, and that is why the NHC does not have it back to tropical storm strength yet. If we take a look at the description for Kirk, it does say it's moving westward quickly at 20 to 25 miles per hour, and that the thunderstorm activity has been getting better organized, but the system does still lack a closed circulation, but it is still likely to develop into a tropical cyclone before it reaches some high wind shear in the next 2 days. And if you do take a look at the shear map, you can see that the remnants of Kirk right now are in this like middle area, in this basically gray area right here, where it's moderate shear, right around 20 knots. That's where the center of circulation is, I believe. Um, but it will be quickly heading into this area of 40 knots of wind shear very soon. So if it wants to develop, it would have to do that very quickly as the time is running out for Kirk. If you take a look at the track models, you can see that most of the models do have it impacting the Leeward Islands in about 48 hours from now. Regardless of redevelopment or not, it is still going to bring some gusty winds and some locally heavy rainfall to this area. So they definitely, people who live in the Lesser Antilles should still be watching this system. And after that, the models do take it into the Caribbean, but by then it should probably just be an open wave, and it should start to weaken from there on. And if you do take a look at the intensity models, you can see that most of the models do have it hitting tropical storm thing. Actually, it already does have winds of 35 knots or more, but again, because of the lack of a close center of circulation, the NHC is not denigrating it as a tropical storm at the moment. And if we do take a look at the intensity, though, it is forecast to dip as it approaches that wind shear in about 2 to 3 days. And only a few models, some outliers, have it strengthening to even a hurricane, but that is looking very unlikely based on the amount of shear that is in that area. And if you take a look at the tropics overall in the next 5 days on the 18Z GFS model run, you can see that the GFS does have Kirk redeveloping into a tropical storm. However, it will start weakening as it does impact the Lesser Antilles, and then it should degenerate into just an open wave by around 72 hours from now. And the European model shows a similar situation where it has Kirk re-strengthening, but then it does weaken again and becomes a remnant low once again by around day 4. So it's not going to stick with us long, even if it does end up redeveloping. Now, if we take a look at the current northeast radar right now, you can see all this very heavy rain that's been falling over the past day. Finally starting to move out of the area, though, out of the New Jersey area. It was definitely some very heavy rain just now as I was outside about a couple hours ago. But fortunately, it is moving out as we do not need any rain anymore. We've had a lot of rain recently. It's definitely been a very wet summer and a very wet fall so far too, and it looks to be staying that way. And if you take a look at what's causing all this rain right now, there is a warm front in the area, which is bringing some rain, some heavy rain, of course, and is also bringing some mild temperatures. Temperatures tomorrow are forecast to be into the 80s, which is very mild for this time of the year. However, then there's a cold front also approaching. Right now it's approaching Illinois, around the Chicago area, and that will be moving east, and that'll bring some more rain Thursday, but then after that it's looking cool and clear, which is good fall weather. And if you take a look at the model, the GFS precip over the next few days, excuse me, you can see that it has some clearing for Wednesday, but then some more rain does return on Thursday or Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But after that, it should be relatively clear skies, and then it does have some more rain, however, on Friday. But that won't be heavy. And then after that, it should stay clear for the rest of the weekend, and it should be a beautiful weekend to come. You also take a look at the rainfall totals. Out of all these systems will probably dump a total of about it's just about 1 to 2 inches for most areas, maybe a little more, maybe about 3 inches here in western PA. But it won't be that much rain, which is definitely good. Again, we don't need any more rain. We're not anywhere close to drought conditions, so we don't need any more rain at the moment. If we just take a look at the temperature forecast now, you can see that today it was a very interesting temperature gradient, as we had 40s and 50s in southern New York and in northern New Jersey, but then there was very warm air, and it was almost 80 degrees here in southern New Jersey. And if you take a look at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be very warm for much of the northeast and mid-Atlantic. We're going to have temperatures near 90 degrees here in Virginia and in DC area, and then temperatures in the mid to upper 80s for much of New Jersey, and some cooler weather though behind that as the cold front starts to move through from the west. And if you take a look at the Thursday temperatures, you can see that cold front moving through, and then highs only in the 60s on Thursday, which actually is seasonable for late September. And it's going to be staying similar temperatures through Friday. Some cold pockets even here only in the 50s, and through the weekend it's looking nice 50s and 60s for much of the area on both Saturday and Sunday, and clear skies. So a beautiful fall weekend to come. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.